I want someone exactly like you, but someone else. My friend just delivered what might be the cruelest line in history at midnight, after I made her soup and blankets. Okay, so this literally just happened 2 hours ago, and I am still trying to process what the actual hell just occurred. My hands are legit shaking as I type this. I am Samuel, 24 years old, and I had my friend Lauren over in my dorm tonight after her brutal breakup yesterday. Lauren's 23, and you know the drill here. I am always the guy she calls when her world falls apart. I made her homemade chicken noodle soup using the good stock I had been making all week, not some packet bullshit. I queued up her favorite comfort movie, brought out the good blankets. We were supposed to watch 2 movies, but she ended up leaving after the first one. Here is some context. Lauren and I met 3 years ago during freshman orientation. I have always been her go-to support system. When boyfriends cheated, when she failed classes, when her parents divorced, I was always there. I have always been the give you rides to the airport, fix your broken lamp, listen to 3 hours of ex-boyfriend drama at 2 a.m. guy. I never pushed the romantic angle because honestly, I was terrified of losing what we had. She is curled up on my couch looking broken and starts venting about her ex Mike. Guys are such jerks, Sam. He left me for someone prettier, someone with bigger boobs, someone who doesn't have anxiety attacks. God, why cannot I find a guy who is actually considerate and thoughtful, like you? Here is where my heart starts doing backflips because Lauren has these gorgeous green eyes, and when she looked at me, I thought maybe, just maybe, after 3 years of being her emotional support human, something might finally happen. Then she says, and I quote, exactly, like, I wish I could find a guy exactly like you, Sam, exactly like you, but someone else. The silence that followed was deafening. The fluorescent light buzzed. The soup steamed between us. My brain completely crashed. I literally felt my stomach drop to the floor. I somehow managed to laugh it off, changed the subject to some random Netflix show, and she headed home about an hour early saying she was super tired. I have been doing dishes and replaying that line on endless loop ever since. Here is the context that makes this extra brutal. I have had feelings for Lauren for over 3 years. Not just a casual crush, like deep, genuine feelings, but I have always been terrified of rejection and losing our friendship. Was that the most savage friend zone delivery in human history, or am I catastrophizing what might have been grief brainword vomit? The worst part, I cannot tell if she meant to be cruel or if she is just completely oblivious to how that sounded. I keep replaying the way she held my eyes for those couple seconds before the "but someone else" part. Was that intentional? A test? Am I losing my mind? TL. Doctor, I cooked comfort food for my freshly dumped friend Lauren, after being her emotional support for 3 years. She said she wants a guy exactly like you, but someone else. I died inside and cannot tell if I am overreacting, or if I just got rejected in 4K HD with surround sound. Reddit. Was that intentionally brutal or just really, really poor word choice? Because right now I feel like I got emotionally eviscerated by someone I care about. Update 1. Holy shit, you guys. Holy shit. First, thank you for all the responses. The ask her directly instead of mind-reading advice seemed reasonable, so I decided to text Lauren the next night. Me, hey. About what you said yesterday. The exactly like me but someone else thing. I am not mad, just genuinely confused. What did you mean by that? Hit send. Immediately wanted to throw my phone into the nearest river and change my identity. No response for hours. I was convinced I had ruined everything. But here is where this gets absolutely insane. She finally calls me at like 11 p.m., and she is crying. Full-on sobbing, says we need to talk in person, that she cannot explain over text. So I drive over to her place because of course I do. I am apparently a glutton for punishment. She lets me in. We sit on her couch, and she starts with, Sam, I need to tell you something, and you are going to hate me. My heart is pounding because I am thinking she is about to explain how my feelings are gross and pathetic. But no, she tells me that what she said, it wasn't accidental, it wasn't grief brain. I am sitting there like, what do you mean? And she gets defensive. Look, I was really hurt and angry about Mike. Okay, and maybe I wanted someone else to feel as shitty as I did. You were there, and I knew it would get a reaction. I swear to God, the room started spinning. A reaction? I didn't think it would hurt you that bad, she says. but her voice is getting smaller. I knew you had feelings, and I was in such a dark place. And that is when it really hits me. She admits she has been knowing about my feelings and using them. Every time she needs something. Every time she is lonely. Every time she wants attention. She calls me because she knows I will drop everything. Turns out, Lauren has known about my feelings for months. Not suspected, known. My roommate Jake apparently let it slip to her ex-boyfriend Mike during some gaming session back in February. Jake feels terrible about it now. He was drunk and thought Mike was cool, didn't realize the guy would pass it along to Lauren. She has known this entire time. I was angry about the breakup, she continues, and I wanted someone to hurt, like I was hurting. You were there, and I knew exactly what would cut deep. I am sitting there in complete shock, and she keeps going. I guess I wanted to see if you had still be there for me even after that. Because that is what you always do, you know? You take whatever I give you and just accept it, you guys. I cannot even describe how this felt. 3 years of friendship, 3 years of being there for every crisis, every heartbreak, every 3 a.m. phone call, and she admits she has been deliberately manipulating my feelings this entire time. I asked her why she was telling me this now, and her answer made me sick. Because I am starting therapy, and my therapist says I need to be honest about the ways I have hurt people. So she is unburdening herself to make her feel better. Not because she actually gives a shit about me. I left without saying another word, drove home in a complete daze. I haven't responded to her texts since, and she has sent 12 so far. 3 years. Reddit. 3 fucking years of thinking I had a friend who just couldn't see me romantically, when really I had someone who saw me as an emotional tampon to be used and discarded. I feel like such an idiot, but also weirdly relieved. Like, at least now I know where I actually stood all along. TLD Tar asked for clarification. Got it. Lauren admitted she said the cruel thing intentionally to hurt me because she knew about my feelings and wanted someone else to feel as bad as she did after her breakup. 3 years of friendship was apparently just her using my feelings as a manipulation tool. I don't even know what to do with this information. Update 2: You are not going to believe what I found out. Actually, you probably will, because apparently I was the only one stupid enough to miss the signs. So I have been maintaining radio silence with Lauren for about a month now. Despite her increasingly desperate attempts to contact me, blocked her on social media, ignored her calls, the whole thing. My friends have been incredibly supportive, especially my roommate Jake, who feels terrible about accidentally giving Mike that information during their gaming session. He had no idea Mike would pass it along to Lauren. But last weekend, everything got so much worse. I was at this house party, trying to be social again, you know, and I run into Mike, Lauren's ex. The guy she was crying about that night. He has had a few drinks, sees me, and his face just changes. Oh shit, you are Sam. The guy Lauren was always talking about. I am like, what do you mean? Mike gets this bitter look on his face. Dude, I have been wanting to tell someone about her games for months. She used to brag about how wrapped around her finger you were, said she could get you to do anything just by crying a little or acting helpless. My blood ran cold. She said that all the time. She called you her emergency boyfriend, like all the relationship benefits whenever she needed them. But none of the commitment. She thought it was hilarious how obvious your crush was. But wait, it gets worse. Mike keeps going. Oh, and she had this whole rating system for you guys. Her emergency boyfriends. She would rate how much she could squeeze out of each one. Thought it was hilarious. The funniest part was when she would make plans with you and then cancel last minute if something better came up. She showed me screenshots of your texts where you would be all understanding about it. She was like, watch this. He will make me food to make up for my cancellation. I am standing there realizing that all of those times she canceled on me. The movies, the dinners I cooked, the study sessions, weren't emergencies or forgetfulness. She was literally playing games, testing how much disrespect I would tolerate. Oh, and the breakup thing, Mike continues. She has been planning to dump me for weeks. She specifically timed it so she could run to you for comfort. She said you always took better care of her when she was vulnerable. So that night with the soup, the movie, the cruel comment, it was all premeditated. She broke up with her boyfriend specifically to manipulate me into taking care of her. then delivered that line to see how much emotional abuse I would accept while still being her devoted little servant. I left the party immediately and spent the next 2 hours in my car just processing. 3 years of what I thought was unrequited love was actually just me being someone's emotional plaything. But here's what really gets me. I started thinking about all our interactions with this new context. Every emergency that required my help. Every time she would touch my arm while talking. Every meaningful look. It was all calculated. She was using my feelings like a video game controller. The worst realization. She probably told her other friends about it too. God knows how many people were watching me make a fool of myself while thinking it was hilarious. Jake found me in the parking lot and drove me home. I have been pretty much in shock since then. But you know what? I am also getting angry. Like, really fucking angry. TL Doctor found out from Lauren's ex that she has been bragging about manipulating me for 3 years. Called me her emergency boyfriend. Laughed about my obvious feelings. And even planned her breakup timing to maximize her ability to use me for comfort. The cruel comment was just the tip of the iceberg. I am done being sad about this. Now I am pissed. Update 3. This is probably my last update. And honestly, I am in a completely different headspace than when I started this whole saga. After Mike's revelations, I spent about 2 weeks just processing everything. Jake was incredible through it all, letting me vent and helping me see the patterns I had been blind to. I started hitting the gym harder, not just for the physical benefits, but because I needed to feel strong again after feeling so powerless for so long. I also started journaling, which sounds lame but actually helped me organize my thoughts about what I wanted from relationships going forward. It took some time, but I finally felt ready to face Lauren directly. I decided I needed to hear this directly from her. Not for closure. I was way past that. But because I needed her to know that I knew, that her little game was over. I texted her, coffee tomorrow at 2 p.m. at the campus center. One conversation, then we are done. She responded within minutes. Yes, thank you, Sam. I have so much I want to say to you. I have missed you so much. Even her response was manipulative. I have missed you, not I am sorry, or I know I messed up. She missed me, like I was the one who had done something wrong. She showed up looking nervous as hell, probably expecting me to be the same pushover who would accept whatever manipulation she served up. But the guy who walked into that coffee shop wasn't the same Sam who had been making soup for her breakdown 2 months earlier. I had been sleeping better without the constant anxiety of wondering what Lauren needed from me. I had been dating casually, nothing serious, but enough to remember what it felt like to talk to people who saw me as a potential partner instead of a service provider. I felt different, stronger. She sat down and immediately started. Sam, I am so glad you agreed to meet. I have been going to therapy, and I have learned so much about myself, and I didn't waste time with pleasantries. Mike told me everything, I said, cutting her off. The emergency boyfriend comments, the screenshots, the rating system, all of it. I have never seen someone's face change so fast. She went from fake hopeful to pure panic in about 2 seconds. Her whole body language shifted. She slouched in her chair like I would physically hit her. Sam, I can explain. No, I cut her off again. You can listen. For once in our friendship, you are going to listen to me instead of just waiting for your turn to talk. And then I laid it out. 3 years of friendship that was actually emotional exploitation. The calculated timing of her breakup. The premeditated cruelty of that night. The fact that she turned my feelings into entertainment for her and her friends. You didn't just reject me, Lauren. You made me into a joke for 3 years. You took screenshots of my texts to laugh at with your boyfriend. She started crying, which 6 months ago would have had me reaching across the table to comfort her. But I wasn't the same guy who used to melt the second she shed a tear. I am sorry, she sobbed. I was just so insecure, and having you care about me made me feel powerful. I never meant for it to go so far. Yes, you did, I replied calmly. Every single time you did it, you meant it. Every screenshot you shared, every plan you made, every time you tested how much I would tolerate, you meant all of it. Then she tried a different approach, and I watched her do it in real time. She stopped crying abruptly and leaned forward, putting on this earnest expression. You know what? You are right. I did enjoy it sometimes. But Sam, you have to understand. Our friendship meant so much more to me than just that. You were my best friend. You are my best friend. I love you. Even now, even caught red-handed, she was still trying to manipulate me, still trying to find the magic words that would make me forgive her and go back to being her emotional safety net. You know what is funny? I said, leaning back in my chair. Even now, you are still doing it. You are still trying to find the right buttons to push, to get me back under your control. That is when she got angry. The mask really slipped then, and I finally saw the real Lauren underneath all the tears and manipulation. Fine, she snapped, her voice rising loud enough that other people in the coffee shop turned to look. You want to throw away 3 years of friendship over some stupid games? You are acting like I committed some terrible crime when all I did was have some fun with your pathetic little crush. And there it was. The real Lauren, even caught red-handed, even confronted with evidence. She still saw my feelings as pathetic, and her manipulation as just having some fun. There it is, I said quietly. The real you. Thanks for finally being honest. I stood up to leave, but then she grabbed my arm, hard enough to hurt. Several people were definitely watching us now. Sam, please. I am getting help. Therapy is really working. I am learning to be better. We can work through this together. And here's the thing that really sealed it for me. Even in her desperation, even when she was supposedly apologizing, she was still making it about her. Her growth, her therapy, her journey to being better. Not once had she actually acknowledged the damage she had caused or shown genuine remorse for treating another human being like a toy. Good for you, I said, removing her hand from my arm. But your personal growth doesn't entitle you to my forgiveness. And I am not your practice dummy while you figure out how to be a decent person. I walked away and haven't looked back. The aftermath has been interesting and honestly kind of vindicating. Word got around campus pretty quickly after our public scene at the coffee shop, and apparently I wasn't Lauren's only victim. 3 other guys have reached out to share similar stories about being her emergency support system while she was dating other people. One guy, Marcus from her literature class, told me she had been doing the exact same thing to him that she did to me. The late-night crisis calls, the canceled plans, even the screenshots being shared with boyfriends. Another guy, David, said she had told him almost the exact same line. I wish I could find someone exactly like you, but not you. He said it messed him up for months. Jake told me that Lauren's been trying to get mutual friends to intervene, claiming I am being cruel and abandoning her when she needs me most. She has apparently been making the rounds, telling people her version where she made one little mistake, and I am being completely unreasonable about it. Some of her closer friends have even approached me to ask if I will just talk to her because she is really struggling and learned her lesson. It is wild how she has managed to frame her losing her favorite emotional toy as me being the bad guy. But here is the crazy part. The people who know the full story, they are not buying it. Even some of her friends have started distancing themselves after learning about the manipulation and the screenshots. Turns out most people don't like finding out they are friends with someone who treats other humans like entertainment. Here is what I have learned from this whole clusterfuck. First thing, trust your instincts, deep down. I always felt like something was off about our dynamic, but I ignored it because I wanted the fantasy more than the truth. Second, people will treat you exactly as badly as you allow them to. I trained Lauren to disrespect me by accepting it every single time. Third, real friends don't weaponize your vulnerabilities. The moment someone uses your feelings to hurt you intentionally, the friendship is over. And finally, your emotional energy is precious. Don't waste it on people who see it as a resource to be mined. I have redirected all that boyfriend energy back into myself, started lifting seriously, actually dating other people, and building friendships with people who see me as a person, not a service provider. Speaking of dating, I went on a date last week with this girl Sarah from my psychology class, and the difference was night and day. She actually seemed interested in my thoughts, my goals, my life beyond what I could do for her. When I told her about a project I was working on, she asked follow-up questions because she was genuinely curious, not because she was waiting for her turn to talk. Revolutionary concept, right? My roommate Jake has been incredible through all this, and I have made some great new friends who actually give a shit about me. Marcus, who reached out after his own Lauren experience, has become a good friend. It is nice being around people who include me because they enjoy my company, not because they need something from me. The funny thing is, I am actually grateful this happened, because now I can spot these red flags from a mile away. Someone cancels last minute repeatedly, not making excuses for them. Someone only calls when they need something, not available anymore. Someone makes jokes at my expense to make themselves feel better. Doors right there. Do I regret the 3 years? Honestly, number, because this experience taught me what I will and will not accept from people. And that lesson is worth its weight in gold. I learned that being alone is infinitely better than being with someone who makes you feel alone. As for Lauren, I hear through the grapevine that she has been telling people I abandoned her when she needed support the most, which is just perfect. Even losing her favorite toy becomes a story where she is the victim. She has also apparently been trying to replicate our dynamic with some freshman guy she met in her art class. Some people never learn, but I have. The last text I got from her was 2 weeks ago. I know you hate me, but I want you to know that losing you has been the biggest mistake of my life. You were the best friend I ever had, and I destroyed it because I am broken. I deleted it without responding, because even that message was still about her. Her mistake, her brokenness, her feelings. Not once did she acknowledge the actual harm she caused or take responsibility without making herself the victim of her own actions. Some people never learn, but I have. Final TL, Dr. confronted Lauren directly about the manipulation after weeks of processing and self-work. She admitted it but tried multiple manipulation tactics even during the confrontation itself, finally showing her true colors when she called my feelings pathetic. Discovered I wasn't her only victim. I am done with people who treat my feelings like a game. Invested that energy into myself, and people who actually value me. Best decision I ever made. Thanks for coming on this journey with me, Reddit. Sometimes the trash takes itself out. You just have to stop bringing it back inside. And sometimes getting your heart broken is actually your heart breaking free.